Hiya crafters, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I'm going to layer up a couple stencils and create a fun critter birthday card. Now these two new stencils are from the November release at A Colorful Life Designs. That first one is All the Stars, and this is Shimmering Star. And both of these are available. Lots of winter, holiday, Christmas related goodness in this release. So be sure to check it out and use my coupon AmyFan10 if you shop and save on your complete order. Now here are a couple photos of the front and the inside of the card. You can see I layered up two stencils to create this fun and unique look. So I'm going to show you how I did it. To start, I'm going to work directly on the card base. This is a 110-pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. And I have this All the Stars stencil laid on top of the card base and held down with magnets. Now this is a little bit of a delicate stencil, but it does have a lot of connection points, so it's still pretty sturdy. You could absolutely use pixie spray if you wanted to hold this down, but I didn't really struggle much with this one. Like I said, just because there were so many connection points between the stars that it really wasn't hard to have it stay put. So I'm using my Blue Family blending brush, and I'm actually just using residual ink on this first layered stencil. The reason being is I don't want it to be too harsh or in your face. I want it to kind of be a subtle background, and then I will layer more of a punch of color on with the next stencil. So I'm just kind of going heavier handed in spots, lighter handed in others, but overall not going too crazy with the color. You can see this beautiful pattern that it puts right on the back on top of this card base. Now here I have the Shimmering Star stencil, and I'm just lining this up, making sure that the star that's masked off in the center is nice and even in the design. So it's a little hard to see. I was debating on turning it so that the single point was on the top, but I decided to just make it as intended and then have equal spacing between the two side points of the star. So once I get that where I want it, again, I'm going to put the magnets down, and then I'm going to come in with more ink. It's actually still just residual at this point, but I'm using the dark blue blending brush, which has quite a bit more ink left on it, so it's going to lay it down a lot more drastically on the card base than that first layer of kind of the teal color. So I work all the way around, going heavier handed in spots, lighter handed in others, but overall I want it to be much more saturated than that first layer of stenciling. And then I come in with the purple and then just really concentrated just around the star. I really want to make sure that that star shape is evident on the design. And I remove it and check that out. It's so fun. So here I decide to kind of tone it down a little bit. So I'm going around just the outer edge, mindful to avoid that masked off star in the center. I really want that to pop off and be evident in the design. So I'm just using, again, residual ink from the blue blending brush and a little bit from the purple just to kind of fill in that space and really highlight that star in the center of the design. So you could, if you're worried about going over, you could try and mask off the center star, but I didn't find it difficult, even with my kind of big blending brush, just to kind of work around the area, because either way, it's still going to really pop off the page just because there's no ink blending inside that star. Now this is my critter book. This is my storage solution for my critters that I have stamped and colored in and either fussy cut them out or die cut them out. I have them stored in these baseball card pocket protector sheets. So this is a nice way to have a lot of things on hand and ready to go, which really enables me to batch a lot of cards and have a pretty hefty stash of cards ready to go at all times. So I'm just flipping through. I have a lot of them here, figuring out what I want to use. At first I was thinking, oh, well, this might work with that little cutie from MFT, which I think that would look good, but that wasn't really the look I was going for. So I put him and all of his little beakers back in that pocket, and then I have this cute little cat. I think this is from Simon Hurley. I will link whatever available products in the video description box below. If you expand under the video and scroll down, that's where you'll find the names and the links for the products. So again, I'm just making sure that this cute kitty is what I want to use just by flipping through my other pages, and then ultimately I do end up deciding that, but I saw this cute little superhero kiddo, and I thought, oh, that would be fun too. But ultimately, as you saw, I ended up going with that cat, and the cat is Copic colored in. I used my alcohol markers and some Sakura white gel pen to add highlights to color that in, and fussy cut it out. Now here I'm flipping through my sentiment book, which is a similar setup to my critter book, but I have a bunch of these strips, sentiment strips, that you kind of stamp them all out in one go and die cut them all out in one go. They're from a company called LDRS Creative. It's a small woman-owned business in Michigan. So I kind of recently discovered her, and I love stocking up on these sentiments that I'm chucking all around my desk. But it's just, again, another tool to have components ready to go, so I can kind of just mix and match and pull together what I want and create a card quickly. So I decided at this point that I want it to be a birthday card, so I pick a sentiment for the front and a sentiment for the inside of the card. And then to continue the design onto the inside of the card, again, I'm just using some residual ink, and it's all the stars just to add a little smattering of color on the inside, and that will continue the background from the front of the card to the inside. I'm going to liquid glue this one sentiment down right over that ink blending. It says birthdays are for celebrating, and then on the front sentiment it'll say, yay, it's your birthday. So I'm just using my bone folder real quick to reinforce that edge and get some ink off my fingers. I was very inky that day, doing a lot of crafting, so it's a good problem to have. I'm feeling if my fingers are inky, then I know I'm having fun crafting. So I put a little strip here of foam tape. This is a thin foam tape that I get from Amazon. I'll link that as well below, but I'm just going to use that and pop that up on the front of the card right over this star, and then I'll just nestle that little kitty in behind it, right in that space in the center. So I love stencils like this because I feel like they make a design easy for you. So if you struggle with layouts or designs, then look for stencils like this that kind of have a built-in focal point. So you can absolutely move them around on your composition and create different looks, but if you struggle with a design feature, then look for something like this that really takes the guesswork out of it and helps you to create a focal point that's really going to draw the eye in where you want it to on your card. So once I get that kitty glued down, I'm just going to lay down a few little droplets of glue on the top and a couple on the bottom, and then lay down these iridescent sequins in various different sizes as well, just to add a little interest and some blingage. But overall, other than the dimension underneath the sentiment strip, this is pretty low profile and should be really easy to ship. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I will check you next time. Bye.